guys, it's MJ from Alta Love. How are you? Today's share, I felt guided to talk about the event again. It sort of pops up sometimes, and there's so much happening in the. So I just keep seeing these like different sheaths. It's almost like veils are being lifted so quickly from people's minds that it's almost like the mainframe, like internet mainframe, is getting like, and so, and it's something in our, hey, good morning, my sky, how are you? It's something for those endeavoring the clarity of conscious creatorship that I guess I just want to say it's really important to stay in our center and to stay practicing the basics of like gratitude and love and like looking after ourselves. I was about to like reach over to some self-love thing, but it's not there. I've got a pot of coffee and water. Water is self-love, right? And a good friend of mine, actually Team Love, Katie Finch, she puts like, so she'll keep water cold, but then she lives in a city, so I have, as far as I'm aware anyway, fluoride-free water here in the southwest of the UK, and Katie lives in Brighton, so she's got fluoride water, but she uses charcoal to transform her water to clean, just to purify it. I think, I don't know, it does something to it, makes it more alkaline or something like that. Yes, so back to the big event. I think because there's so much trigger happy. So recognize that again, the construct of a fearful world is based in false logic. It's based in the illusion of linearity and really half the story. This is talked about in one of the interviews in Spirituality Simplified, but this concept is really like, again, it's looking at everything as outside of us rather than there being like a cyclical, again, conscious, creative, malleable reality. And we've constructed over the generations a reality based on this false logic, i.e. everything's outside of us, and 1 + 1 is 2, and you're just, these are how you put the building blocks, and then it's making me think of, it's not like everything is false logic. 1 + 1 is 2. And and Tom in the interview, he does mention this, like, engineering, right? Yes, oh, this is fantastic news. I've had a really good online entrepreneur friend who's had a big break in her career as well. So seeing all that is really positive. I'm really happy for you, my sky. My subscribers have been going like down slowly but surely, so I'm keeping, and I'm emotional today, so I literally could cry just expressing those words, but I'm staying positive. I spent all day yesterday like proper enfolding myself in light and visioning real kind of like miracles and expansion and stuff for the Mish. So I'm just gonna stay in my pure heart and share whatever I desire to share. Hence the event and our propagated the propagated kind of bombardment of events are always happening out there ahead of us, right? In that linear sense, out there ahead of us, there's an event here. And then of course how it triggers us is like that drama fueled experience that we're all so accustomed to. A major event, breaking news, the blah blah blah. And so it's like another veil. It's another like, oh, my sky, my heart chakra is blown open all day, every day. It is. But in a beautiful way, like, this is not in any way complaining. This is just like being honest with you guys. Yeah, so this event isn't something outside of us, and truly reminding ourselves that we're projecting out our reality, that we're seeing it, and hence while things like the YouTubes and even in our spiritual circles, how we go from like the 3D separation mentality, work slave mode, and or just like in disempowered like alienation mode. And then we go in this like seeking, almost like a maze tunnel, like seeking, reading lots of books, ingesting lots of information, maybe going to lots of festivals and conferences, and like, but all for like self-development purposes. And then that phase like sort of runs its course, and all of it basically comes back to the self as the creator. And not, and this is part of my own awareness of like New Age to Jesus testimony, is like when you're one with the creator, when you're one with the whole, it is all humbling. It is all like divine and Christed, you know? Like I never really was somebody who purely hooked into law of attraction so I could make lots of money and be better than everyone else. Oh, my Sky 5D, I really appreciate that. Like, literally, you guys, I just feel like I could burst into tears at any moment. I'll try to keep it light for you guys. I'll try to keep it light and joyful. So yes, the event is not something outside of us. I know, live share. Shh. But don't, like, you know. Yeah, okay, so the event isn't something outside of us. And every single one of us as creative beings endeavoring the new paradigm will have a fairly dramatic event. We will live through a dramatic event because we're talking about this. So, like, all of us in our different communities, within our different paradigms, will have rather dramatic, life-changing events. And dramatic by the sense of unexpected. We're not controlling it. And so many of us this year or next year along this certain transformational timeline, I'm not an astrologer, so I'm not going to start to refer to the planets, but during this transformational time, it's like we will have significant things that transform our lives. And on a quantum level, on a energetic level, we've been intending it. So we've been consciously creating it. We've been visioning it into existence, and then this is the year where it happens. My experience that I want to share with you is just the intensity of living in the void and dropping into total surrender, whereby one must sit with all of the underlying fear, all of the lifelong distortion around undeservingness. And so in the present moment, we might be feeling like we're wading through tar. We might be feeling like, hey, yeah, all this like shame and fear and nasties, all the like nasty emotions start to come up. But then that's all part of, Beth, hello, my love. That's all part of this shedding. It's all like how I see it in the kind of scientific or quantum level is that it's all like reversed on itself. Oh, interesting. Okay, and my Sky 5D, so I'm really bridging into this as far as just like sharing from the heart space, but not necessarily having like, because what I'm aware of is any sense of hierarchy, any sense of like the stages or the symptoms or the da-da-da-da-da, like that's all imprinting as well. So and I'm aware of the falseness of that as a means to control and manipulate. Not that like you're trying to control and manipulate me, but I'm aware of it in a context of branding and business and yada yada. It's like, oh, there's these 5 stages or these 10 stages or these da da da. But as we're all, hey Kurt Mill, as we're all completely unique expressions, the stages aren't equivalent to everybody. And now, okay, I'm being given an opportunity to upsell Spirituality Simplified because I've spoken to a woman, a healer, who expresses this about this is part of the big illusion of like the false light is the idea, also potentially certain religions, is the idea that all humanity and or all of creative sentient beings in this universe come from one source. So this woman and she's had a fairly like dramatic impact on my own evolution, which is why I include her in the course. what she's expressing is that we are all gods, we are all creators, so we don't all come from the same source, because we all birthed ourselves from a unique point of attraction. So I can like trace my own awareness back to my point of origin, but my point of origin is a little bit on a frequential level. It's a little bit different from everybody else's, as is yours, as is theirs, as is whatever. We're not all these kind of perfect balls of unified light once we withdraw. And to me, that makes a lot more sense, because then the journeying really truly is an infinite, eternal journeying. I, as a unique soul, could just go into the depth of any darkness. Hence why we can't compare our truth and or our perception of reality with one another. We can share notes. We can kind of open our hearts and try to decipher and discern, which is, I would say, a big part of this awakening, is breaking ourselves down to the point that we can just be present with one another. And hence, this is what we're doing. At the same time, what is really cool is that someone like me, who's like very little engaged with any external info, hence someone like my sky being able to reflect back like, oh, you're talking about the blah 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 blah. I'm like, interesting. So you can see, like, I'm not trying to control. I've never written or read about these different stages of this, that, or the other. But whatever I'm intuiting from within is clearly relevant to a lot of people on the journey. And so all of us, what we reflect back and what you've shared, then that might be relevant to somebody else. And of course, whenever we're going through the junk, and like literally, whilst we are transforming our junk DNA, yeah, you leave. So, but this is what Callie was saying, is that the point of origin isn't the same. That's the I would say the idealized perspective of one, one source. So the truth of it is, like, we are all our own source, but the one source isn't necessarily the same. But there is a universality, right? So there's a hey, you guys, hey Lady Ellie Blue Dragon. And so hence us all being like reflections of sparks of the cosmos, of an infinite cosmic reality, and like we activate and remind one another of that. I know. So origin is like where in the infinite cosmos and universe. And then so obviously I talk about it and you'll get to read it, but like so like life is an absurd except like life's an absurd comedy and a crazy dance, and at the same time I'm just like what's happening? And exactly, and this is something about talking about origin. It's like, for me, part of this expansive journey of deepening my understanding of my own self and actually endeavoring to share this journey with you guys was like tracing my origin back. So when I started to endeavor deeper healing, to really start to shift energies and also like integrate stuff, I learned about origins. And like how that's our soul's connection to different star systems, is literally like, where were we before here? And for some of us, for a lot of people, they've been in that reincarnation grid for a long time. So it's like there's a lot of earthly bound consciousness, people who don't remember and who have potentially no access to their eternal self or soul self, their connection to the entire universe. There are souls who are pretty purely earth-bound souls, and that's perfect. But for some of us who don't resonate with a solely earthbound perspective, then we start to expand that out, right? We trace it back. Where was I? Like, I know I spent time in the star system of Pleiades. I know I spent time in the star system of Sirius. I know I went to Sirius before this reincarnation because the torturing experience of my past incarnation was so traumatic for my soul that I had to like restock and heal my own soul for this incarnation. And like, how weird is that? Like, this is somebody who went into those healings 3 or 4 years ago, like, yeah, I'm from Canada. And then the healers were like, no, your origin, like, where are you from? And then I'm like tracing it back. And then more recently, I'm realizing, oh, you can take it further. Even Sirius or the Pleiades, those aren't my origins. Those are just star systems where I like partied for a while. And then ultimately, like, for me, my own source point is just the void. And then my first vision of my birth, like as a soul, was just seeing two souls in front of me, like a just like an atom, and then there's like two, but they're lights, and the two balls of light that I can see as my like creative birthing moment is the masculine, the feminine, right? It's the mom and the dad. It's the fact that we have a binary fusion of light that births our own portal. And of course, some of you, and I always as a human find this kind of stuff a little bit like barf, but I'm gonna say it anyway. As I've traced that back, I'm ever more certain that my like my purpose as a being is peace and lightness and joy, which is often, so which is why more of us talking about this stuff, we can resonate with one another and be like, see, that's why this world is so painful. But it's also why we have some understanding which helps one another move through the energies of this earthly existence. Oh, girlfriend, Lady Allie, I don't know either. But this is part of why I share so honestly, is that I don't want to have answers for people. I just am me creating stuff and birthing it into the world in a blind faith that that will bring the benevolence of grace into my reality, right? Electricity. Ooh, I love the science behind it. Electromagnetism. I love it. And magnetic. Ah! See, this is beautiful as well because it's the magnetism of the feminine which we're now really allowing to make manifest and or dropping into. And this is something that as my normal area nature and my little bit like my drive that I've had most of my life, that kind of crazy keep going ambition. I've always been a fairly action driven person, and this month it's like my spirit, higher self, whatever is like, no, stop. Like literally I've been doing my shares and sitting in this room editing. Yeah, so magnetic, I'm in my like magnetic phase, right? So like, and oh my God, this is so relevant, the nervous system. So the nervous system really is the electric function of our body, right? The how our electrical signals are being are moving really from the brain through the sciatic nerve and then out through the body, right? What's been denied across our culture and across the planetary globe, including our modern, theoretical academic study. So like this whole idea of false logic dictating the construct of this reality. What's been denied in that? But our femininity, our nurturing, our fact that we're total creators, not half of the story, right? So the more of us who merge with our innate femininity, which is the magnetism, right? And this is what becomes challenging as a being making this transformation, is that my programming wants me to go get it and go get it done and do it this way and talk to this person and da da da. But my deeper femininity, and which is also connected to a deeper invisible knowing, is saying just sit right here. Like the magnet, and this is part of that next level, feeling into the manifestation across the nation, is like, how little can one do? Like, can one really be in presence and sift through all the fearful layers of creation, which is that when we're present with it, just watching it, it's literally like uncreating that as a program of belief and or a pattern to recreate. And this is why I do share as well, is there's an accountability platform for us to continue to make manifest that which we desire, but not getting all gobbledygook fucked up around like, who knows best? Nobody does. Even the worldly, and I have like first account, I don't know those legal jargon words, but like this is me speaking mouth to mouth, face to face with people. If we over something, I know. Well, and it wouldn't, right? We don't want that. Well, and also be okay about that. Be okay about not hanging. Like our energy wants to be fully focused on this new stuff, and the more we do focus on it, the more we would permission to create it. I love that comment as well. Yeah, that would be hilarious. And yet, oh my gosh, I mean, in fairness, dude, I think we can. I find it funny to imagine what humanity would look like if we overemphasize the feminine and shun the masculine. And again, either one, if we're shunning, if we're imbalanced, which means actually we're manifesting like the dark side or the shadow side of that which we're trying to deny. And so you would get a lot, and you see this in certain matriarchal constructed like businesses, organizations, and you don't know, there's something off about those communities as well, right? And often what you notice is like are these weird disempowered men and these kind of over dominant, but like, you know, I don't know. Imbalance is imbalance and distortion is distortion, right? Like, and I can't not be like who I am and feeling into this stuff and then just sharing honestly. So anyway, guys, I was actually talking about the event. Do you guys know about the event? I'm just aware that like you're it, and part of us, I think, maybe are waiting for like some big cataclysm or some big event, and at the same time, I'm aware that there will be events. There will be major world events, which continue. Yeah, there will be major events around the world, and yet, depending on their level of intensity, let's be honest, we don't want anything to do with those events. Energetically speaking, we've been through enough. Emotionally speaking, we've been through enough. I know I froze because I got some phone calls through. I hope there's enough coherence here for you. So essentially what I'm saying is that I personally am continuing to withdraw from the old, from the pain, from the suffering, from the thinking I don't know when I do know, and we can create, and we can step into that creation, and we can allow ourselves to receive and be without fear of going back into those enslavement tactics, right? It's like they want to try to manipulate everything, and they can't. And again, that they has to do with our own disempowered, unconscious, pushed out there, and so, anything that makes us frightened, right? That's something else to remind us. That fear that we think is separate from us is our own disempowered. So every time we're afraid of the fear, then our fear feeds it, feeds the fear, external power, right? Keep feeding that external power. Part of why I talk about anger in the Fearless Life Guide is like, anger is a very important emotion to feel and sit with because it really does drop us. And it helps us burn through a lot of those sheaths and layers of unconscious programming around disempowerment, right? And then we can continue to ramp up and take that and step into the new. But this month has been incredibly deep. Oh, nice, Kurt Mill. Incredibly deep, incredibly profound. It's almost like the final review. The final review. So, are you sure? Are you sure you want to be fully responsible? Are you sure you want to take on all this? Are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you want to do that, right? And it's because those of us pioneering in the next wave, we're community for each other. Hence, lady, you were saying about like, I don't even know how to relate anymore. Great. I'm somebody who's like, well done you. Let's hang out. You know, let's hang out because I'm not interested in that. God, I don't know if you guys can feel it, but like even just talking to some people about stuff going on out there, it just feels like attack. Hence, false logic, and again, Tom Brown talks about this in the interview in Spirituality Simplified. False logic is why everybody in the world is so freaking reactive. Academics, you know, scientists, lawyers, doctors, why are these people so reactive if they're being challenged? It's literally because from this perspective, our beingness, someone like me or a lot of you probably, our sheer presence triggers people because their whole worldview, their whole construct is threatened by what we're creating here because it is. Right? And we know it because it happened. I went through it. You went through it. We've undergone those multiple, maybe just one, but probably quite a few ego deaths of, okay, I'm just going to let that go. Whew. Right? And then we keep feeling in. It's true. It's true though. We do know so much of the depth, but it's like it's our light, not our darkness that most frightens us, right? So it's us. And for me, what I'm working with is a lot of humility. Because I have one of my biggest challenges when dealing with humans is this aspect of ego and like these subtle layers of control and domination via the construct of the ego, because people are disconnected from all of the different frequencies they contain, all of the different energies, right? And so a huge for me part of my life path was like just breaking myself down as much as possible, is because nothing in me wants to use anything to so like Kerbal, so many ego deaths, like literally yesterday morning. But like, boom, everyone helps us, I would say, gain the responsibility necessary to do the work that we're meant to do. It's not like it's going to be hard work like the physical laborious way. It's work that we innately know, and hence our creative output, and then action steps. Like I'm already being guided in the next action steps, but there's certain things like there's certain physical things that haven't appeared yet. So I'm like, okay. Hence this feeling of being in the unknown. Hence some of you guys reflecting back like, I'm dealing with this trauma, or fuck, I thought I dealt with that shit. It's like this month, it's like, nope. You get to review all of your childhood trauma right now. Nope. You get to look at all the areas where you believe you're undeserving. You know, like looking at all this stuff so that we can probably in the next few weeks and coming months really kind of ramp up and start to step up into our greater selves, right? Yeah. So much grief, and this is the perpetual loop of why we can sort of like vibrate and resonate with one another, is that we've not lived in denial of those feelings. And I'm always amazed at the little weird things people do to try to be like, no, I'm not feeling. Like, whoa, holy cowsers. People who resonate with me are just feeling empaths, sensitive empaths, and thus we have the potential to just really penetrate the void, hence the event, you know, penetrate to the void and like bring about your original source point of creation and birth your divine blueprint into this reality. That I say that sounds weird and confusing. It doesn't. We've already been doing it. How do you think we all kind of naturally vibe with each other and understand one another, and we all live in different parts of the world? It's not like we've hung out. It's not like we've shook hands. It's not like we've even looked at each other in presence field. This is an innate cosmic quantum knowing. This is something that's in us to share. It's not going to be read in a book. Everything created is from past paradigm, right? Exactly. And that is something, either a drama event, like the cataclysm, big light filled. I mean, and again, oh, sorry guys, you don't need to see my feet. And again, like, great, there's always events. There's always natural disasters and different things going on in politics and da-da-da. That's like a not constant thing, right? Okay, good. In the event, exactly, Kurt Mill. Exactly. That's what I mean about like the event, this event and that, and everyone thinks that this big event's going to happen to come and save them, perhaps, or what I'm aware of on a kind of like a shadow side of like we're going to be saved for this like second coming or whatever, is the shadow side of like the event as like the rapture, like some big apocalyptic event, and that makes my heart sad, that I'm like, oh man, people are just fueling the fire, right? Hence, I guess why I remain quite withdrawn. I don't talk to too many people. I meditate and relax a lot here, and I focus on the creative, like literally everything I've created since the book with regard to All to Love is an online biz that can just bring in resources online. Exactly. Oh, well, and the truth is our own self-projected, right? We've done a lot of really good work, I'd say. A little round of applause for us. That's me patting you guys in the back. Yeah, i.e., how do we all connect? How do we all vibrate? It's the quantum field. We're accessing the quantum field. We're awakening our regenesis. Part of this shift in this, there's wave after wave after wave after wave, which is why we don't compare, because everybody's at a different point in their soul's evolution when it comes to new paradigm existence, right? Just transparency and rationale. Logic from within the infinite quantum field, not logic as in false logic, like we're all separate and everything's outside of us. Oh, Beth. You guys, I think that's it for today's share. I had a little bit of a wobble like 4 or 5 days ago going live, and so I've not gone live, but I really do enjoy the live shares, and this one was really fun. Hence, backtrack, the reminder for me was like the last live share I did, intuitively, I didn't really want to go live, but I did anyway. And then it was like it was kind of weird. Anyway, today was great, and I really, really, really appreciate all y'all. And I think that's it. I'm gonna be a writer. I'm gonna be a humongous writer for the next 4 days, and I'm gonna be doing all the tech and stuff for Spirituality Simplified. I know some of you guys have already pre-ordered. Some of you have said you're gonna order it once you get paid, and so I'm just like so thankful. The products that I sell on Alta Love really do like support my life, and then the only reason I have this desire to bring in abundance is essentially, it sounds really sad, you guys, but essentially to bring my mom back, because my mom got deported a little while back, and so she normally visits me once or twice a year, and she's not been able to come visit me. And she works for Alta Love, and we're quite tight and stuff, right? Kurt Mill, precise, but that's a big part of all of my many ego deaths, was realizing like over the years I've just been like, I'm not going away. I'm not gonna stop talking from my heart. I'm not gonna go back. I'm not gonna be like, it didn't work out, I'm gonna go get a job as a teacher. That's not gonna happen, you guys. It's like, it's on. Look at the hair. It's on. It's happening. New paradigm, new earth, mass awakening, great awakening. Us being able to actually have a good time on this planet rather than being persecuted and shunned by humanity. Boo! Because guys, we love you. Just because I frighten you doesn't mean that I'm here to frighten you, right? It's the weirdest thing. When we have that binary awareness, when we can feedback off of people's like judgments and fears and feelings and like assess what they are. But again, and that's something about sharing transparently as well, is like the more we come online, the more we come online. And I'm noticing that more recently, i.e. Kurt Mill, I feel like this is reflective of what you were saying, of like the intuitive gifts. Boom, boom, the psychic ability. These are all really coming online. Hence that next layer of like all my interactions are shape-shifting, and like the sense of like deepening honesty, like really stepping into that presence field is super duper important, especially because some of us might be being asked to let go of more in the weird paradoxical sense. Like, as much as I absolutely love yoga and the practice, and it's been my best bud for so long, all of my yoga client stuff, that's all falling away, you know. And I have the retreat in June, and I'm obviously going to be shared the yoga on the retreat, but I'm like, well, but then I'm like, but that's stuff I've been creating. That's all part of the shift. And now it's like I'm here more in real time with you guys, right? Which I think is really useful for some people. Like, I watched a share by Maz, who's part of this, who's sort of part of this community. And it just, I don't know, it just made me realize so much that ongoing peeling back, and how we are valuable in our authenticity, that we're not, and now I'm rambling on, but just quickly, this story about like when I first made this leap into online entrepreneurship, I've had lots of ego death lessons, right? And one of them was working with a backer, making all of these promises and all of these claims, all of it kind of like money and fame related. And then like six months probably, no, it would have been like maybe a little bit longer, 7 months or so, and the intuitive sword just came down. And it's so fucking weird, because when I look back at the footage, when I look back at the video content that we created around the original launch for the book, working with this guy, and I'm like, who is that person? Kurt Mill, exactly. Hence this feeling of so much of the like, is this it? Are we actually doing this? And in fairness, you're right. New Paradigm is just a little bit lighter, happier people being more fair and honest. And there's a huge transitional phase. And it's just coming in right now into ish. Huge transitional phase with regards to healing humans. Healing, breaking down. And then that people's breakdown, people having emotional breakdowns is one and the same as the actual systematic pillars starting to crumble and starting to break down and starting to fall. Us undergoing the regenesis, and that's part of like all of this manifestation stuff, is that new paradigm, none of us, it's not like I want money to lord over. That's the difference. And so more and more new paradigm vibers are just living off the land, are pioneering new technologies, are working on systems that are more expansive and life, giving to people. And then again, new paradigm to me, some of the pillars for new paradigm though are certainly rearranging our waste patterns to dissolve them completely. Free energy, free education, and a creative education model. And then, I mean, we're talking, this is next level, but then schools and certain sort of areas around learning would be developing our supernature skills, right? So the telepathy, the remote viewing, and then, but that point, now I'm getting the fact that like by that point though, like Earth to this generation, or to this old paradigm viewpoint, or value system, sorry guys, I just spat on you, but I didn't, I spat on myself. That old world view would be like a distant memory, because I'm getting the vision of like Star Trek vibes. Like in the future world, there will be like these really advanced technological things happening, because we all know that they're already there. There's just this like empathic, like staring at the narcissistic walls, being like, we can see you. Like, we know that you're lying. We know that you're hiding a whole bunch of awesome shit for us and trying to be like, shh, you're a slave. And we're like, no, we're not. Stop it. And they're like, meh. I'm talking about like the evil ruling elite. They're just like, argh! And then they're just gonna jump ship because we're like standing them down. Being like, I'm not afraid of you. I can see you. And I can feel your fucking dark density. But I know you're, Yes! This I've got out. I wanted to share my winter flow with you guys. So this is from my mom, who I'm gonna call right after I finish. And then how funny is this? I almost didn't wear them, but I was like, I want to wear them. I want to wear my leg warmers, so I'm wearing actual leg warmers with jeans. Is that obnoxious? No, it's not. It's fucking cool. It's fucking cool, you guys. I appreciate all of you massively. I enjoyed this live share immensely. And I look forward to seeing you soon. I was about to say happy Sunday, everybody, but it's Monday. I wouldn't know because I slept all day yesterday. Peace out, my friends.